This is electric football, and this is Steve Brown. I'm usually with my partner, Stu Pace. He's over there drinking a scotch and soda right now. What I'm going to do is, I'm the literary one on electric football, so I'm going to run through I'm going to run a little shout out, Stu there. I'm going to run through my 10 favorite football books. I'm going to leave a few off, some notable books for whatever reason. I didn't like them that much. I didn't read them. So that would be Instant Replay, The Blind Side by Michael Lewis. I've never actually read, and I like Michael Lewis and I like football, but can't get interested in that one. Semi Tough, not one of my favorites. Where Men Find Glory, another book that I probably should have read. I like John Krakauer, and I respect what Pat Tillman did beyond belief, but I can't get real motivated to read it. It's almost too sad for me. The Junction Boys, never read it, and They Call Me Assassin, great story, but, great personality, but not a great book. So, starting at number 10, Knights and Knaves of Autumn by Jim Klobuchar, and I do that because I'm a Viking fan. It's not a great book, but it's a great book of Viking stories. Number 9 would be The 80-Yard Run by Theron Hopkins. What this author did was he went across America, going to high schools and learning about the players, learning about the team's history, learning about the towns, and wrote a book detailing it. And it's a great job of giving you a slice of America, all across America, and the differences in the way that we approach high school football. Number 8 would be North Dallas 40. This is the only fiction book on the list, but it was done by Peter Gent. He actually played for the Cowboys, and I think it's a pretty accurate portrayal of what a locker room and what football players were doing in the 70s. Number 7 is The Dark Side of the Game by Tim Green. This is a book that Tim Green, you remember him, he was the defensive end for the Falcons, and it's a book that really gives you a sense of what it's like in the trenches in the NFL and the kind of pain, the kind of injuries that you have to go through to keep your job. The Last of the Headbangers by Kevin Cook is going to come in at number 6 for me. I just read it. Maybe it's a little higher on the list because it's fresh for me. But it's a great group of 1970s stories. So if you were a fan of the great teams of the 70s, the Dolphins, the Steelers, the Raiders, basically the teams that beat my Vikings and the Vikings. It's a great book full of great stories. It brings back some of the guys like Phil Villapiano that you hadn't really thought of. Great players at the time, not all-time greats, and it does a great job of reminding you of all the different things that happened in the 70s. Number 5, 3 Bricks Shy of a Load by Roy Blunt. He picked the 72 Steelers, I think it was, and he followed them for a year. He's a Sports Illustrated writer. Great group of players to follow. Frenchie Fuqua, a name you might not remember. The Hanratty Bradshaw competition, how Chuck Noll handled the team, and what Pittsburgh was like, and the kind of characters that the Rooneys hung around with. So he couldn't have done a better job. If I was a Steelers fan, this would be number 1 on this list. Number 4 is Jeff Pearlman's Boys Will Be Boys. I hate the Cowboys, and I'm not sure if that factors into where I put this book. But he looked at the teams with the Michael Irvins and the Leon Letts and just sort of the craziness and the excess of the Cowboys back with those teams. And he's sort of the king of gossipy sports books. He did The Bad Guys one about the Mets, and he did the Walter Payton biography. So if you're a fan of inside the locker room kind of stuff, that's what I like, and Boys Will Be Boys is great. Number 3, Paper Lion. And I'm going to take just a second here. Alex Karras is evidently very, very ill, like extremely ill, according to reports today. And he was a big part of George Plimpton's book. He was also in Webster, if you guys remember the 80s sitcom, and married the lady from Webster, I believe. He was Mongo in Blazing Saddles, where, knocks out the horse. Was suspended a year for gambling. Was a big part of the Detroit Lions defensive line, and just one of the NFL's great early players. And it's sad to hear that he may not be with us much longer. He's also one of he's evidently suffered dementia and is part of some of the lawsuits trying to seek better protection for the players. So a quick electric football salute to Alex Karras as we salute Paper Lion, George Plimpton's book. Plimpton was the father of participatory sports journalism. So he actually went out and tried to be a quarterback for the Lions briefly, and really got to know the players and really got to show how extremely talented they are compared to the everyday man. Plimpton was a bit of an athlete himself, but could not handle the intricacies of being an NFL quarterback. And it's a great book. The movie with Alan Alda, if you've seen it, you're probably aware of it. One of my personal favorites, number 2 on the list, is Bringing the Heat by Mark Bowden. You might know Mark Bowden as the author of Black Hawk Down, which is an amazing book about the Black Hawk helicopter being shot down in Somalia. Before he did that work, he was a Philly sports journalist, and he follows the teams with Jerome Brown, Reggie White, Randall Cunningham, and sort of the craziness of those teams. What makes this book special is he gives you a sense of each player's personality and then how each player fit into that team, how the dysfunction between the offense and the defense affected that team, and just as inside a look as you'll ever get at any NFL locker room. And my number 1 book is Friday Night Lights by Buzz Bissinger, the exploration of a Texas high school football dynasty and the effect that they have on the town, deals with racism, deals with classism, deals with the obsessiveness of sports fans, and it elevates the book to being more of a commentary on America. It's also spawned a great television series, and I think the best movie about football ever. So that's my list. Great NFL books. I hope you get a chance to read some of them. I'd love to get your feedback and some comments with your own list. How could you leave off Where Men Find Glory? How could you put on The Dark Side of the Game? Anything like that. So this is a little electric football special. I'm Steve Brown. Hiding over there is my friend Stu Pace. Thank you for listening.